Okay, so we're going to look at one of the problems from the worksheet. This one is number 4, I believe, which, by the way, number 4 was missing a number in the second sentence. It should say what includes a 2-night stay with 3 meals. That number 3 was missing. So hopefully this will help you out with not only number 4, but the rest of them as well. This one is talking about a beach hotel. And some specials that are going on. One includes a 2-night stay and 3 meals for a cost of $195. The other is a 3-night stay with 5 meals and costs $300. So basically what it's saying is that from this information we can conclude what a 2-night stay, what 1-night stay would cost and what 1 meal would cost based on the information provided. So the question is, what is the cost of a single meal? Now, if you're looking at your variables, which is the first step, identifying your variables, the variables are what are the values that you do not know. So the question is going to provide a great insight into what your variable is. The first variable would just be x, or 1 meal. In fact, the cost of that meal. Let me write that in there. Okay, so the cost of that meal and your y variable in this case would be the cost of a night stay. Okay, so now once we know what the variables are, we can build equations based on those variables. Okay, so obviously x will be, your meals will be represented as x, your night stays will be represented as y, and now we just take what we're given in the sentence and put it into an equation. So the second sentence says one of the specials includes a 2-night stay, which we will represent y as nights, and so we can say 2y let's see. Technical difficulties here. There we go. Okay, so 2y and a 3 meals. So that's literally plus 3 meals are x. And that will equal $195. Okay. Now that we know that, we can look on to a third sentence. The other includes a 3-night stay with 5 meals, and that costs $300. So 3 nights and 5 meals. So that's 5 of our x, or meals, and that equals $300. Okay, so I think that's probably where most people get stopped, is how to set up those equations. Now, remember that we're just simply, once we identify what the variables are, which again are the factors, the values that we do not know and that we're actually trying to look for, the cost of a single meal, the cost of a night stay. Once we know what the variables are, then we can look at the sentence and say, if 2 nights plus 3 meals equals $195, then according to our variables, how we've situated our variables, then that is just 2y plus 3x, or 3 meals, equals $195. And likewise for the second equation. Now, once we have situated those, we can solve this either by substitution or elimination. Now, if you have a graphing calculator available, you can also solve these for y and do it on the calculator like we have done. But here, since my variables are lined up, y's are lined up with the y's, x's, and the whole numbers are all lined up perfectly, I'm going to go ahead and use elimination. Now remember that when we use elimination, we take the bottom number that we're trying to eliminate. I'm going to try to eliminate my y's. So I'm going to take this 3 and multiply the top by 3. I'm going to take this 2 and multiply the bottom by 2. So remember, the first thing that we do is when we're starting to distribute, we go ahead and multiply out the first term or the term that we're trying to get rid of. So I'm going to multiply on the top. 3 times 2y is 6y. And on the bottom, 2 times 3y is 6y. Now, again, when you do elimination, you're trying to set up one big addition problem. Now 6y plus 6y is just 12y. That doesn't get rid of anything. We want one of them to be a negative 6y. Now in order for that to be a negative 6y, I need to change that to a negative 3. That's the only time when you're using elimination that you're going to use a negative number to distribute. Okay, on the bottom, now that I know that those are going to eliminate like they should, I'll go ahead and distribute these numbers throughout the entire equations. So negative 3 times a positive 3x is negative 9x. And negative 3 times 195, let me go ahead and calculate that out. Is negative 585. Okay, so negative 585. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the bottom. 2 and 5x is a positive 10x. Equals 2 times 600 is, 2 times 300 is 600. All right. Now, once we've done that, we set up our big addition problem, and this is where the elimination really starts to take hold. All right, so negative 6y and 6y is 0. Negative 9x and a positive 10x gives us a positive x, which is great because that means we're not going to have to divide by anything. We're going to know as soon as we do the rest of the addition problem exactly what x equals without any further steps. Positive 600 and a negative $585 is a positive $15. That means x, or the cost of a single meal, is $15. Now, because that is our question, we're looking at the question, what is the cost of a single meal? We've answered that, so we don't have to go any further. The cost of a single meal is $15.